It's the Friendly Fire Show, episode 239 for the end of June 2023. I've lost my plot. I thought it was July. I don't know what's happening. It doesn't matter. I'm one of your hosts, Steve Wright. Joining me is Ben Salter. Hello, Ben. Do you know what month it is?
No, I questioned you as well when you said that. End of June doesn't sound right, but it is because it's post E3. So it's post not E3. The time which was formerly known as E3 is now just the time everyone does their thing, like 6 weeks apart. That's the time that it is.
Now is the time everyone gets ready to do their taxes, because I'm old, and that's probably not what anyone else is thinking about, but that's where I went to, so that's telling.
Is that where you got this banging jacket with your tax refund?
Oh,
or
yeah.
Preemptively?
If I wear this now, it counts as like a business expense, right? So I can write my Star Trek Picard leather jacket. It's not leather, but it's fake leather jacket. Like that's now a business expense, right? Like I had to wear this. It was absolutely mandatory today.
Absolutely.
With
Sure,
you.
whatever. Don't take financial advice from me, but sure. For the listener at home, you're wearing a... What type of jacket is this? What's the specific detail?
It's a leather jacket. It's a field jacket as worn on Star Trek Picard Season 3, which you probably didn't know because...
No idea.
You should watch it.
I know it's a Star Trek jacket because of that pointy little thing you've got on the...
It's called a Delta, and it's a comm badge, if we're getting into the weeds. If you haven't watched Star Trek Picard Season 3, you should. It's on Paramount Plus. If you haven't watched Star Trek Prodigy, you can't because they've removed it from Paramount Plus. It's one of those things like it's the Warner Brothers thing of just, and Disney I guess too did it with Willow, like pulling things off streaming and like from existence really because it's a tax write-off. The same thing that they did with the Batgirl movie and all those kind of things. So it's weird. Star Trek Prodigy is like an animated show. It's season 1 is 2 halves, like 2 episodes of 10. The first 10 episodes are on DVD and like out on Amazon Prime Video, but it's pulled from Paramount now. So like technically there's no legal way to watch the the final 10 episodes of the first season. They're basically done making the second season, but they're not going to put it on Paramount Plus, and they're trying to like shop it out to someone to buy. It's a weird time to be streaming media. Like if you like something, you should really buy the DVD or the Blu-ray. Like you should own it because
I don't want to do that.
It might be gone tomorrow.
So you're saying the only way to get something legit is to pirate it, basically, and that way you can keep it.
We didn't say that. Just like we're not giving out tax advice, we're not giving out pirate advice.
We would never say that.
Exactly.
But who wants to play a disc? How annoying.
Well, yeah, I bought a disc for Final Fantasy, which we're not talking about this week, but we will talk about, I'm sure, at some point. Yeah. We can get into that
next week.
I'm way into the weeds. There's so much to talk about. We don't have time for this. We did half of the non-E3 E3 Summer Game Fest stuff, but now it's the second half. Really, we took a little break last week to not talk about this, but we should get into it. So we didn't talk about Ubisoft, and we don't need to because they literally showed nothing that they hadn't shown at other festivals.
Just Dance 2024. How does that even work now? There's no motion sensing. There's no Connect or iToy or whatever.
You get an app for your phone. It's been like this forever, and it disconnects quite regularly and is not very reliable. And I thought the last Just Dance was like not numbered because they were going to make it like a game as a service, but
subscription. Anyway, who cares?
That's
Ubisoft.
Nintendo. We're talking about Nintendo. They had a huge sort of post Summer Game Fest surprise kind of direct.
It's all not E3, isn't it? It's all the same time. It's their E3 Direct, not in Nintendo E3 time anymore. It's like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Same thing. They were probably the most important to have one because for Xbox and PlayStation, we knew their big hitting games were coming out already. Like we already knew Starfield, we already knew Spider-Man, but we've had Zelda. We didn't know what Nintendo is actually releasing later this year. It's not a new console, but it is a new Mario game. Many of them, actually.
Yeah.
The one that I care about is Super Mario Wonder, which is the first. It's kind of surprised me to hear this is the first new 2D Mario game since 2012. Because there's been a bunch of like spin-offs and things, but not an actual 2D Mario game. There's been Mario Maker.
Like Mario World? Do they not count?
They're they're in the middle. They're like a different...
Yeah.
Between, it's not full side scrolling. So New Super Mario Bros. U in 2012, launch title for the Wii U. If you remember that, kids, you won't know the Wii U. Don't worry about it. Don't Google it. Don't AI it.
And you don't need to. Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to. But it looks really good, and it looks a lot more characteristic. It looks a lot more Mario from the 90s. Like the new Super Mario Bros. Series was always very Apple to me. Very clean, very crisp, very like minimalistic. And it lost some of that Mario character in doing that. They've gone back to like angry little short Mario, and I think that's great. That's kind of exciting. It looks a bit different, which makes me think it's different. They haven't called it New Super Mario something. It's called it's called Super Mario Wonder or Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Like it's that thing where like I'm not really drawn towards any of this type of game, like even to the Donkey Kong. Like it's not just like, oh, it's Mario, it's for kids or anything like that. It's just kind of like, I don't know, a side-scrolling 2D thing. Like, yeah, like whatever. But then as soon as you play it, it's amazing. Like, of course it's amazing. It's Nintendo, and they're not putting a foot wrong in this space, and they haven't, and they probably ever won't. So it's that kind of level of exciting to me. Like, not kind of, sort of, not really.
Not hyped before, but you'll probably play it when it comes out and enjoy it. There's Elephant Mario. That's different. That actually is different, because normally he'd put on his little hat and he'd become like B Mario, but this time he actually became the elephant.
Yeah, like he's not Mario in an elephant suit, like he's in a cat suit, like whacking a tail on with like ears on a hat, like he's like a proper elephant. So
game changer. It'll
what
probably be great.
What does the elephant do? Like he literally just stood there. So like
they didn't want to show us what the elephant does. It'll be
what
something.
What if he doesn't
ridiculous.
do anything? What if he literally is just Mario as an elephant and he has no other skills?
There will be something.
All right.
Well, it's a 2D platformer. There has to be a reason for this. Like, there's not that much you can do in a 2D space.
I look forward to you being completely wrong and having to apologize to me when Elephant Mario literally is just Mario as an elephant. He's just trapped in an slow elephant. He enjoys peanuts and forgets things. Is that a real thing about elephants, or is that
they love peanuts?
Old wives' tale? No, like the memory thing. Do they have bad memories or good memories?
Every creature has a bad memory.
I have a bad memory.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, okay, let's move on. Super Mario RPG, the Super NES
SNES game
classic is now a remade. Well, will soon be a remade Switch classic. I guess.
So
did you ever play it?
Not really. It's not my jam. I like the Paper Mario games. This is the first of the RPGs of the Marios. I don't think I'll play it. I know people were kind of saying Squaresoft made it, and Nintendo basically made them make a good RPG back in the day when they were making a lot of the very same boring-ish JRPGs at the time.
Yeah.
If you weren't into it. So a lot of people love it, have the great fond memories of it. I think it's a little strange that they're releasing two Mario games like a month or two apart after not having one for a little while. That's strange. And I guess it's just to cash in on the movie, right? We've had a Gangbusters movie. Let's get a bunch of different Mario stuff out. Or maybe one of these two got delayed and they've ended up together.
Maybe. Now, like, see, I don't know anything about Nintendo games, clearly, because I explained why. Like, yeah, great. Like, if I play it, I love it, but it's not my cup of tea. You've put a little note in our, like, a show note thing that says Peach is getting her own game. Is this that? Or is this something...
No, that's the third one.
Okay, well, see...
another announcement.
Shows you what I know.
They only showed it for, like, 20 seconds, and so you play as Peach. This has happened before. There was a DS game called Super Princess Peach. This one, though, she wasn't wearing a crown, which made people kind of speculate that it's going to be pre-Princess Peach, before she was the princess. Maybe that opens up more gameplay or something.
The gritty prequel before she was...
It could be the other way around. Nintendo characters always look the same age, so maybe it's post-princess. Maybe she's relinquished. Don't know.
Oh.
But I guess that's probably...
Who's the king of the Mushroom Kingdom if she's not the queen? Like, who is actually in charge of this fabled land?
Doesn't matter.
Am I getting into the weeds?
Get his way in there.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
Sorry.
There probably is answer. Some Nintendo purist will have a perfect explanation. I don't really care.
It's Mario. He's the king, but he doesn't want to own up to it, and that's why... I don't know. Sorry. Let's move quite along.
Let's move along. Less exciting, Luigi's Mansion 2. So yet again on the Mario theme, he's getting a remaster for Switch. That's the DS one. It's the bad one. So Luigi's Mansion 1 is good. Luigi's Mansion 3, very good. Luigi's Mansion 2, I always thought, meh.
So if you're excited and you haven't played 3, which was an actual Switch game, you should play 3 in your recommendation.
I'd play 3. I would dig out a GameCube and play 1 before I bothered with 2. Could be wrong. Maybe I'm just having bad memories of it. I just thought it was not very good. And maybe it's because on 3DS. It's not probably the best type of game to play on a 3DS. You can also play Luigi's Mansion 1 demastered on 3DS if you really want. I assume it's a demaster. GameCube to 3DS seems like a downgrade to me.
But
So
with an
that's
extra
an
map
option.
on the top half of your contraption or
Yeah,
something. Anyway,
fine. When it's just way lower resolution. That's pretty much all the Mario stuff. So it was very Mario heavy. It was almost the Mario Direct because without having like a real key 3D Mario game that people maybe thought was coming. That said, the 2D Mario games outsell the 3D ones. Like
yeah.
I was surprised to see that. They always sell crazy good. So no doubt Wonder will. And they'll just follow on from that massive movie taking with a massive game.
And no Metroid, which I'm sure you were not happy about.
We've had Metroid. Metroid Prime 4 is just gone. We did get Sonic though. That's kind of Mario-y because there was like a very 2D looking, very 90s looking Sonic that we didn't see heaps of. It looked like, I mean, it looked like the more recent Sonic games, which is very much a let's go back to what made these games good back in the day and just do them again, like Sonic Mania and such. Looked like more of that. Probably be good. Tough to compete with Mario again though.
Yeah, and coming out like in a weird time, like we just literally just got Sonic Origins Plus, which was that weird. They delisted all the
Yeah.
original Sonic games and put them out in a bundle, and now they've like re-released it with I don't even know what the Plus does, but you
I
could
don't
have
forget
won that with a plushie and stuff on the website. So good, thanks to the people
Yeah.
who entered that contest, and congratulations the two people that won. Yeah, I would pick a new Mario over a new Sonic, though I really liked Sonic Frontiers. You haven't jumped into that since
No, I
we've.
have. I played like a few hours pre-Japan and I haven't gone back to it. It's a bit weird, but yeah, it's good. Like I
Once you get the
enjoyed it.
hang of it, it's good. But yeah, like Mario is an established guaranteed property no matter what perspective you're talking about here, and
Mm.
Sonic is. It could be good, it could be bad. They're going back to like original designers and stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So who knows? If you're into that,
Absolutely.
you're gonna be
Something you
happy.
will be pumped for is Vampire Survivors. Yes, it's coming to Switch. I think Switch is the perfect platform for it, so I can play while I'm doing something else. But also, it's getting couch co-op in an era on all platforms. In an
Yeah,
era when almost no games bother to have couch co-op at all, it's getting four-player couch co-op, which is pretty cool.
I have no idea how that's gonna work because it would be a lot on the screen. And
Yeah.
what happens if
What?
one person dies and one's alive, or three? And you can do the math between four people and all the combinations they're in.
Well,
But
not a fact-based show. Maybe you all die if one person dies. It's gonna be boring if you have to wait till the
then
last
you're gonna
person.
that's gonna get angry. Well, yeah, it's bad either way. Either like
Maybe
I
there's
kill you because I'm not
revives.
paying attention, or I die and I have to wait for 10, 20 minutes while you finish up the level. And I know you wouldn't just kill yourself to move things along. You'd persist, and I would just be bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be a solution, surely. Surely it's either you've got a set number of revives or you will just die or something. Like it's a brutal game. It's not going to just let you keep on going with the super guide help functionality. It's going to be tough.
Correct. But it's good. If you haven't played it, you really have no excuse. It's pretty cheap on any platform. And even it's on phone. It's free on phones, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think.
it's on phones. It's easy
Yeah.
to play on phone as well, but I
Yeah.
think Switch is a better platform. Like phone is just a bit too small.
Yeah, agreed. What else? This is basically the Nintendo show. What else was? It's basically
All old stuff,
old
basically.
stuff. Yeah.
It was basically the Mario plus a bunch of old stuff coming to Switch. They did do it again though, which is exciting. I hope this is a trend for all Nintendo Directs, and I hope Xbox and PlayStation steal it. Which is this thing, i.e., old game, is available right now. You don't have to wait at all, and it does mean we've got way too much Pikmin because we've got Pikmin 4 in July, and then we've got Pikmin 1 and 2 Shadow Drop during the Direct. You can buy them immediately. Both good games, not remastered to the degree that Metroid Prime was, just upscaled in HD. Still okay, still good. But yeah, I mean, they're both good games. It's kind of weird that we haven't had a new Pikmin for 10 years, and then we've suddenly just got like 3 games released on a new platform within the space of a month. But yeah, if you never played them, good time to check them out. Don't actually know if they've got the Wii pointer controls or not, but you don't need that. Just use the, although they did work quite well. Yeah, worth playing. Probably not if you're going to play 4 and then go back to 1 and 2. That might be tough.
Yeah. Well, there's about a month before 4 comes out. I think
Good
previews should
Smash
be
Mouth.
dropping soonish, and reviews before the game's release. So there you go.
Possible. There's heaps of more old games coming to Switch. They don't really matter. Like it's weird that they're releasing the Batman Arkham series. That game, that trilogy is so ancient.
Well, and it kind of like the first two make sense. Arkham Asylum was the first. It was the 360 game. Arkham So 2 was Arkham City.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Arkham Knight was Xbox One, PS4, but it kind of chugged a bit, and the PC releases are just all over the shop. So if the Xbox and the PS4 were kind of struggling with what they were trying to do in this weird open world with the Batmobile and stuff, like how is a Switch going to cope with it?
It's not, and this thing's going to cost full price on Switch. You can get all these games for $20 combined on any other platform. Just do that.
Yeah.
The Metal Gear games are coming to Switch. That's kind of cool, I guess, if you're into that. And there's some ancient game called Star Ocean. The second story is another remake. Don't know what that is, but people were pumped for it.
I believe it's a video game on Nintendo Switch.
From the 90s. I get that. Yeah. It's that era of game. Looked okay. But yeah, it's very much the Mario and old stuff coming to Switch show and some DLC for Pokemon, even though it hasn't had its frame rate fixed yet. Never mind. So with all this wrapped up, Steve, now that you can comprehend all of the shows, let's forget about the secondary one, your Summer Game Fest, your Ubisoft, your whatever other ones.
Devolver Digital.
Big three.
Yeah.
Well, actually, first, give me a 30-second recap of what we got at Xbox and PlayStation, since you would know off the top of your head.
Yeah. Okay.
The key things.
Good. So we're weeks out from this. Okay. 30-second PlayStation recap. They showed Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
They showed Spider-Man 2. I honestly, what else? Oh, they announced Marathon from Bungie, which isn't like the old Marathon, but it's a new Extraction thing. They no, they didn't announce. Ubisoft didn't announce anything. Did they do the Prince of Persia game at PlayStation? I see. I don't know. That was probably 30 seconds. That's my 30-second recap. How useless was that?
Stuck with you. Yeah.
What'd I miss? What do you got?
I don't know. What did you get? Well, give me Xbox, which you have remembered perfectly. What did Xbox show?
Star Wars Outlaws was announced. Ubisoft, I think, or Prince of Persia was announced. No, that
Outlaws was announced there.
Prince of Persia must have been at Summer Game Fest, which we're not talking about. The Fable thing with Richard. I still can't say his surname.
Ayoade.
Thank you.
That was there.
Forza Horizon got a release. Not Horizon. Forza Motorsport got a release date. That cool New Orleans game from Compulsion got a release. No announcement, but I don't know what it's called. Something South is in there somewhere. I'm not doing very well.
Then we got 45 minutes of Starfield. That was basically it.
Yeah.
So
okay, great.
You've proved my point that the Xbox and the PlayStation shows were very much real focused on their heavy hitters, which we already knew about. So that was kind of the only downer. Nintendo show was very heavy on old stuff coming to Switch, but they had a new Mario game, something we didn't know about.
Yep.
All that in mind, I think Nintendo probably did the best just because they had something new to show. I don't know it's necessarily the most exciting game. I don't know where it ranked between Spider-Man, Starfield, and Mario, which are now the clear three big games for their platform exclusives for the rest of the year. But at least we didn't know about that. And it was, as much as I wanted to see more Starfield, I just struggle to watch a 45-minute deep dive on something like that. Like it doesn't do it for me.
I
Same with
didn't.
Spider-Man.
I watched the 5-minute trailer because that was enough. And also because we watched this same thing like a year ago and it was pretty disappointing. So why do it again to yourself?
That's it. And it's been a quality year in games, but it's still feels very safe moving out to the next period. It's games that are delayed. Spider-Man wasn't delayed, but it's always kind of been in that slot. Starfield massively delayed, of course. And it's just, it's hard to get excited about those in these E3 windows because it used to be the new game time as well. Like it used to be, there's something coming out this year that you didn't know about that's going to totally amaze you. Even Forza, like that getting a date finally. Yeah, but that was meant to be out last year or within the last 12 months. It's just, they weren't quite as exciting. They felt very safe compared to what they'd previously done. So did Nintendo's. Like it kind of felt like they're running a little bit out of steam with the Switch 2 clearly on the horizon, but they plugged enough gaps. Like, who really cares about Detective Pikachu 2? I'm probably going to be massively ridiculed for that. Returns. But, I mean, that's a filler game, right? Like, it's a spin-off. It's a classic. We're coming to the end of our console life. So I was a bit surprised to see a new side-scroller Mario. I thought it was going to be Mario RPG was, like, the thing. And that made me think, like, I guess I can put my Switch away after Pikmin. It's done for the year. But now I'll have to keep it going. So that's probably why I was most interested in that one.
Well, it's... I went and did all the game release calendar things for the rest of the year, and September, October, I don't like too many games, too many like big
always.
games, too many games that I want to play, and I have like no idea how I'm gonna get through that backlog. Let alone there's not a lot of backlog right now. I'm still playing Diablo and Street Fighter and
I'm not even touching either of those.
Star
No
Wars.
time. Running out of time. Even though it feels like there hasn't been that many releases, there is no time to play anything.
Yeah. Well, in terms of my winner from the not E3 of 2023, like I don't know if anybody won. I think I won for not getting up at ridiculous o'clock to cover the stories. I think it was a perfect year to just kind of get up when I would normally get up and see that, not a lot of stuff that I didn't know about before made the headlines, and then wrote up the couple things that did. It was good. Like the Nintendo stuff was more stuff that we didn't know about, but yeah, like a lot of it was stuff that we didn't know about, but has already been on something in some format somewhere in one way or the other. Like I know RPG is a remake, but it's it's Super Mario RPG. Like we've already played it. Or maybe you haven't. Maybe you're super excited, and if that's the case, good for you. I'm not trying to yuck your yum here.
But it's the year of remakes. Like that's what we do. We kicked off the year with Metroid Prime Remastered. That was great. Then we played Resident Evil 4 remake, and that was great. Then there are probably like 5 more that I've already forgotten. Like it's the year of the remake. That's what we're having this year, or the remaster.
Well, there you go. Until we get into Starfield, Alan Wake 2. Oh, there's probably a Call of Duty in there somewhere, unless that everyone making
that is actually normally by June we'd have the new COD. It hasn't happened yet, maybe because Phil Spencer's just waiting there, and so he can say we own Activision and we need to get through the court case before we can do that.
Joke's on you! It isn't multi-platform. It's only on Xbox.
Very funny.
I'm so sick of all of that kind of stuff. Like it's just
I'm sick of it, but at least getting the quotes from Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer direct from what they've been asked by lawyers, they both seem a little bit insane, but especially Jim. Like the stuff he's coming out with is just
like I know we're not in a bit and like the stuff from Pete Hines where he's like, why are we making these games not multi-console if what if like it's just, of course it's all business. Like everyone's trying to screw over the other, but like not in an anti-competitive way. Like they're just trying to like come out on top of the console wars.
It's very funny in a court setting just to get the very one-sided business takes of Jim Ryan being asked, did he expect that Starfield would be released on PlayStation, and him kind of saying, well, previous ZeniMax games have always been released on PlayStation, so we expected that they would continue to be multi-platform. And then he was asked about, so did you expect Deathloop or whatever to be on Xbox? And kind of like, oh no, that was a timed exclusive of PlayStation.
Yeah, like, we paid them so that wouldn't happen. I mean, what do you mean? Oh, whoops.
Clear contradiction, but ignoring it. And anyway.
And just in the way that they respond, because that, like, Ryan came out, well, as reported today, as the time that we're recording this, like, oh yeah, I don't think they're being anti-competitive, locking a game to just their console, because as soon as, like, it comes back on Sony for doing the same thing with a different game name, like, you don't want to give them something to use against you in the future. It's all just, like, one big exercise in, like, brand management and PR. It's kind of gross. That's why I'm sick of it. I just want to, like, just make a decision. Let's go. Like, let's go. But anyway,
it's going to keep going for a long, long time.
Yeah. Well, it's going to keep going for a long time as well. Delays. We're back to probably a regular cadence, especially with all these release date announcements. Like it's going to come fast and furious, Ben. And this week in delays, I guess AFL 23 is still delayed for Xbox, but more notably, Cricket 24, another Big Ant game that was due right now in time for the real Ashes, which I had to Google because I don't know anything about cricket.
It's the UK Ashes, so it's not the real Ashes. It's not the Australian one. You better watch it at night time.
I didn't know that. Okay, well, An Ashes. This was the official game of the Ashes, so I guess there's only the Ashes. It's not An Ashes.
Yeah, I mean, the Ashes is played across 2 countries, but we kind of ignore that England won until we're winning, and then it's good.
But we are winning, aren't we?
Exactly.
Across like both genders and everything, we're like stomping them.
Yeah,
or
that's
no?
True.
Yeah, there you go. See, I know a little bit about cricket, only because I had to Google it for this stupid post. So the game was marketed for the longest time as the official game of the Ashes, and now Big Ant is like requesting that people pull like images that have that on it. Yeah, well,
they probably lost the licensing for that because they're not going to be out in time. The next Ashes in 2 years, so It's not going to work.
Well, there you go. So now it's maybe not the official Game of the Ashes, or it's silently the official Game of the Ashes. Not in time for the Ashes. It's now due out in October, which is like cricket season. I guess cricket's a year-round thing,
Ahead of
depending
the
on
Australia one.
where you are.
Really matter when
but,
you release it.
Yeah, it's for the Australian summer, which is probably not great to play cricket outside. We burn a lot. Do they play cricket in winter here, or how does that?
No. It needs to be dry, so
All
it
right.
needs to be in summer. I will give Big Out in this. If they've delayed it based on what they did with AFL and they've just decided not good enough, kudos to them for realizing that, even if it means they've had to give up their tagline and it doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Release something that's more polished and ready to be actually released. So if that's why, if it launches like AFL did and it's dodgy in October, then they don't learn. So let's just see if they have learned or they haven't learned.
Did I make it up? Did they put like on social media somewhere like the Shigeru Miyamoto quote, like a good game,
Surely not.
Good game. What's the quote? Something like a delayed game that is
It's
good
something
is
like
always good, and a delayed game or not a bad game that's not delayed is always bad, or I don't
something
know.
like that. Yeah, that's the gist.
I'm pretty sure they use that in a social media post somewhere, and like, yeah, cool. Like, if you actually believe in that mantra, 100% great. But like all the weirdness surrounding AFL 23 and like the lack of an Xbox release and the weird excuses for like physical copies or whatever else, like, just like if you're gonna adopt that mantra, great. Like I think we're all on board with that, but just like be honest about it and don't like have a different tact depending on the way the wind is blowing. But that's just me thinking out loud.
That's fine. Let's add that one to the October pile. For now, I've got too much stuff to play anyway, so no time for Cricket 22. Doesn't bother me. That's all good.
24, not
24.
22. And if you want a little bit of extra time, you can play the Switch one in November. But I'm not sure how that's gonna pan out. But
Don't
you have
play
options.
this game on Switch. That's my hot tip for this week.
All right, that's it. Let's go. How do we find you on the internet?
Ben_Salter on Twitter is how you find me. Where do we find you?
SWriteAU, and Stevivor's where things are. That's where you find this podcast, and you can subscribe, and you can listen and do all the good things, rating us. We're really bad at self-promotion, but, if you're here, thanks. If you're not here, you're not listening to this, so it doesn't matter. See you next week.